Stanley Kubrick's The Shining isn't just a horror masterpiece on screen. The real nightmare happened behind the camera, where deleted scenes were destroyed, actors were psychologically tortured, and one woman's hair literally fell out from stress. This is the disturbing truth about what really went down at the Overlook Hotel. Let's start with the deleted footage that Kubrick didn't want you to see. After The Shining premiered in 1980, Kubrick did something unprecedented. He personally ordered Warner Brothers to physically cut a scene from every single print in theaters. An editor had to go theater by theater, reel by reel, slicing out the final 2 minutes of the film. This was the hospital epilogue, showing Wendy and Danny recovering after escaping the hotel. Kubrick felt it gave audiences too much closure, too much comfort. He wanted you to leave disturbed. And here's the terrifying part. He ordered all the cut footage destroyed, gone forever. Though rumors persist that one or two prints survived, Kubrick's estate refuses to release them, honoring his wish to keep that footage buried. But the deleted scenes are nothing compared to what happened to Shelley Duvall. The actress who played Wendy Torrance endured what can only be described as systematic psychological abuse. Kubrick's method was calculated and cruel. He deliberately isolated Duvall on set, instructing the entire crew to ignore her, to offer her no sympathy whatsoever. His own daughter Vivian captured him on camera, whispering to crew members, "Don't sympathize with Shelley." He wanted her broken, terrified, and alone, just like her character. The famous baseball bat scene where Wendy backs up the stairs, that was shot 127 times. Not 10 takes. Not 20, 127. Duvall's tears in that scene are real. Her exhaustion is real. Her terror is real. She later revealed that filming lasted from May to October, and she was in and out of ill health the entire time because the stress was so overwhelming. She had to wake up every Monday morning knowing she'd have to cry all day, every day for weeks. She told reporters, "I don't know how I did it. Jack said that to me too. He said, 'I don't know how you do it.'" The physical toll was horrifying. Duvall's hair began falling out in clumps from the stress. She actually brought handfuls of her own hair to show Kubrick, evidence of what his methods were doing to her body. She had to carry bottles of water everywhere because she cried so hard and so often that she was constantly dehydrated, literally running out of tears. One scene required her to run up a stairway 35 times, the equivalent of running up the Empire State Building. To get into the right emotional state, she'd listen to sad songs on her Walkman and force herself to relive traumatic memories before every take. Meanwhile, Jack Nicholson was treated like royalty. Kubrick deliberately created two different working environments. Nicholson himself admitted in a documentary that it was as if they had different directors. Kubrick would praise Jack, spend hours talking with him, even play catch with him between takes. But when it came to Duvall, he'd lose his temper, tell her she was wasting everyone's time, and emotionally berate her in front of the crew. The cruelty was the point. Kubrick wanted Wendy Torrance to feel small, terrified, and unsupported. She might. So he made Shelley Duvall feel exactly that way. And here's the most disturbing part. Kubrick held the world record for most retakes. One scene with Scatman Crothers and Danny Lloyd was shot 148 times, still the Guinness World Record for most retakes of a scene with dialogue. Actor Philip Stone, who played Delbert Grady, spent 2 weeks on set for an 8-minute scene that was shot 50 to 60 times, always in one continuous take. Kubrick's perfectionism wasn't just demanding, it was pathological. Even the props were obsessive. Remember Jack's typewriter pages that say all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy? Kubrick's secretary typed that phrase on an estimated 500 sheets of paper. Not a few sheets like you see in the movie. 500 actual sheets. The maze at the end? Built twice. Once in the US for exterior shots, once in England for interior scenes. Crew members would actually get lost inside it. The pine boughs were stapled to plywood, and the freezing conditions during the climactic chase left the crew suffering through brutal shooting conditions for weeks. But perhaps the most haunting detail is this. Young Danny Lloyd, who played the psychic child, had no idea he was even in a horror movie. Kubrick kept him completely in the dark to protect him, telling him it was a family drama. Danny was kept off set during violent scenes, and Kubrick even organized Easter egg hunts for the child actors. He could be kind when he wanted to be. He just chose not to be with Shelley Duvall. Years later, Duvall still spoke fondly of Kubrick, saying he was warm and friendly to her, that he spent hours talking with her and Jack. She admitted he had a cruel streak, but believed it came from abuse he'd suffered himself. That's the most disturbing part of all. Even after everything, she defended him. That's what trauma does. That's what abuse looks like. The Shining isn't just a movie about a man descending into madness. It's a document of real psychological torture, captured on film, celebrated as art. The horror was real, the screams were real, and the scars Shelley Duvall carried lasted a lifetime. Subscribe for more disturbing truths Hollywood doesn't want you to know.